There you go. And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to IT Career in Australia live stream. And tonight's topic is entering an IT industry in Australia as an international student. So, thank you so much for finding some time this evening to join our live discussion. Please make sure to introduce yourselves in the comments. Let us know what you do and join our conversations with your comments and questions. So if you're new to my live show, I'm Jana Martins, and I've recently entered IT industry myself. So I'm passionate about learning more and connect with different people and also share my new findings with you on this YouTube channel. So tonight we are going to talk about entering an IT industry in Australia as an international student. And Lovie is going to share her journey, her career transition, and her top tips to help you make a move. So it's an incredibly relevant topic, especially for international students, obviously. So please make sure tag and share this video with your colleagues and friends, and obviously with your students' friends as well. So it definitely will be some helpful information for them here. So before I pass it on to Lovie to introduce herself, I just want to remind you that we're going live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So to watch replays, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, IT Career in Australia. I'm going live there every Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Melbourne time, with various experts from my network, and we're talking about all the things around IT career, job search, and specifics of IT industry in Australia. So you can also join my meetup group to make sure you get notifications for the upcoming discussions. And also make sure to ask the questions, because we'll try to answer all your questions from all the platforms. Please make sure you stay on the topic. Yep. And and also, use this live stream as your opportunity, not only to learn new information, but to network with people in the industry. So you can always, network with people who commenting as well, so you can find some new friends who's in the same situation, or obviously ask questions in the real life, and we can try to answer them. So anyway, that's enough for me. As I said again, please pop your names in the comments, because we don't know, we can't see who's joining us. It's not like a Zoom meeting, it's a YouTube. So make sure pop your name in the comments so we know who's here. So that's enough of me. Passing on to Lovie to introduce herself, please.
Hi, hello everyone. Thanks, Yana. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm Lovee Jain, and I'm currently working as a software developer at the city of Ballarat. I'm also a Women Tech Maker ambassador and a GDG Melbourne organizer, which I would explain later on. um, so, yeah, thank you so much again, Yana, for inviting and allowing me to share some experience in the journey. And yeah.
Thank you, Lovie. So guys, if any international students joining us today, so please say hi as well, so we know that someone's here who's studying at the moment. Let us know, are you studying at the moment, or you already start looking for the job? So if you let us know in the comments, that would be great as well. So, okay, we obviously gonna to start with a bit of a story. So, I think every international student who comes to Australia, or not, not even a student, anyone who immigrates in our country, have a bit of a story to share. So obviously we'll start with Lovie's story today. Sky is joining us. Hello, I'm studying CS at the moment. Thank you for sharing with us. And also, guys, if you have a nickname on your YouTube, maybe share your name as well, because sometimes some people have interesting nicknames on the YouTube, and then we have no idea who's who's watching us. So Lovie, please tell us a little bit about yourself. So how did you end up where you are today?
Okay. So I came here to Australia like 4 years ago. And the funny bit is, I came on 17th of Feb. So tomorrow would be exactly 4 years. So
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, everybody, like all the international students, or even anyone coming to Australia, well, the first thing you come here and you start with your rent and your groceries, and every time you do any such expenses, the one thing that goes in your mind is that currency conversion. That gets really funny. That makes you realize, okay, I really need to get a job, and now that whole thing starts. So, like everybody, it caught me as well, and then I had this thing like, okay, I need to get a job. So during my orientation week, I think on the first or the second day itself, I just simply went to the career hub in the university. So sorry about that, I haven't told what course am I doing. I did, and from what
Yep.
uni. So I did my master in business information management and systems from La Trobe University. It's a Bandura campus. It's the biggest campus. Very cool, very funny, very nice. I loved it. So yes. So during the orientation week, I definitely went to the career hub, got my what a resume and cover letter things need to sort. So I needed to sort them. So I got myself booked into those workshops because it's very different to what you do in your own country and very different in how you actually present it in Australia. So I did that and made some contacts and, just interacted with so many people. So when you go to the universities, usually you have some people who will actually help you out. So there we call them international hosts. And I really like them, how they actually were reaching out to scared strangers, right? So when you're talking to somebody like very stranger people, it really is, it takes a lot of courage. And I thought that moment itself that I really want to do this, because I'm not a person who would sit in a corner. I'd really like to do stuff. So I asked them, how do I apply? And then they told me how to get into it. So coming back, I made a lot of contacts. I got added into one of the WhatsApp groups, and then someone shared a job post there. And because I had attended all the resume and cover letter things, I created mine and applied for it. And I actually got invited for an interview. So I interviewed, got selected, and so the job was at the Pharma Deal, Australia. It is a pharmacy. They had this online vertical, and they needed someone to help with that. So I started as an e-commerce support executive. Now, uh, I soon was made redundant, you can say, and I was out of my role. We'll come to that story later on, but yes. So then again, jobless, trying to get in the market again. And now at this time when I have no job, I tried almost everything, like uh, that you actually try. So I wouldn't mention because everybody knows what you all try. But apart from that, I also made sure that I actually give my time to things that mattered to me. So I definitely applied for the international host program. I became an international host. And then also back in my own country, in my city, I had this Google developers group, Indore. So I'm from Indore. I thought there should be something in Melbourne. Let's Google it, and I tried and actually found it. So the first thing I did was reach out to the organizer and emailed him. I just told him that, okay, I really want to volunteer, come in, join. And he was very kind. He welcomed me to his one of the events. And from there, I started to volunteer. And the first event I volunteered was one of the meetups or the talks, where I was welcoming everybody and checking the name tags and all those things. But the best bit was I was amongst those people who I wanted to be like. So I think that satisfied me a lot because I was learning a lot of things. It was all IT, plus it was in the Google office, very fancy. So those kind of things happen. Then there was this another program called eFriend, which I joined. So when I came to Australia, before coming here, we usually have a Facebook group from the university where you actually interact with different people and they help you out. So those people who interact with you on Facebook and those social media, those are called eFriend. And someone really helped me out. I thought I would do the same. I did it, and I helped someone and actually won a customer champion award. Now, the luckiest part was that soon after that, I actually got, so you know how you apply to Coles, Woolies, and other supermarkets. I finally got selected and got for an interview. And I think that bit where I mentioned about how I solved that real world problem, it got me that job. So I worked as a customer service executive at Coles Express for a very long time, and I would say that was very good for surviving, really. But yeah, so
The
that's how.
surviving skill at calls.
Yes. No, no, they were. It was good. I would say it was really good. Then while I was at Pharmacy, so one thing good happened was like they were trying to do some social media marketing and stuff, and I wasn't very good at it, so I wanted to learn it. And that's where I started finding courses and those things in digital marketing arena. So I found Google Digital Garage, and then I found Google Squared, so which is a digital marketing leadership course powered by Google and Avado, and it was just offered in UK, but it was, I mean, online. So I applied for a scholarship, and luckily I got selected. And I have to say that was one of the best courses I did. Like, I learned a lot of things, not just about digital marketing, but there were more things to it, such as, how you actually interact with your users, the user journeys, and those little touch points, and what are the different stages. And that really helped me build that perspective. Plus, it was a global audience course, right? It was offered to everybody, so you get to learn a lot of things, and it was all online, so learned a lot of online tools as well. So that turned out to be really, really good. And while I was doing it, I was also volunteering with GDG Melbourne. So they were doing the talks. So they were used to do those 10-minute lightning talks where they would, if you're a beginner, you can just speak about small topics and just introductory topics. So I got like, okay, I can try this. And I did it. So I think that really helped me build my confidence, like very, very, because you're just going out there and talking in front of 50, 70 people, and you don't know anyone. Those are experts. You're just a beginner. You may be wrong, but still you can at least communicate with those people. So that is really cool. um Moving on, so this was going on, and then I came to my third semester, and that semester we had our industry project. So with our industry projects, we usually had two phases. The first one was the design phase. So during that design phase, so we had people from Deloitte coming us to guide us, to tell us what the problem was, and then we developed the solution. So the one more thing I would like to mention, I know it's going dragging on and on. I don't want to bore people, but the reason I'm mentioning all those things is because, it's more like you step on one thing and then it helps you to step on the other. So it builds up. So I got an email from someone in the Latrobe, and they wanted to do some user interviews for international students. I participated in one, and I met one of the facilitators there, and I talked to her about the user journeys and those things that I had learned during my squared course. And soon after that, I think 1 or 2 months later, there was a job posting in the university career hub site, and I applied for that, and I didn't know that lady as well. And I did mention all my experience with my digital marketing course that I learned, and how could I relate it? And that's where I got my another job, which was as a user researcher with DXC Technology. So that was very good learning experience. I learned a lot of UX concepts, and again was able to relate everything together, connect all the dots that I learned during the squared course that I was doing in my the course, the project, and also this. And then I did another talk on related to design and Google Design, so, at GDG Melbourne. And that's where someone told me that, okay, are you interested in doing applying for a job at Redbubble? And I was like, yes, absolutely. And that's where I got my another job. So, how it steps up. Everything happens if you just need to go out, and you need to be there so that anyone can see you for that. So that's how I got my Redbubble stuff. And then it worked, and then COVID happened. So I think the real struggle began then. I mean, it was really, really struggling to because positions were getting cancelled. There were no people hiring any juniors. Plus, I had done so many different stuff. Even I was not able to make up my mind what I wanted to do. And that's where I have spent about 5 months or so and figuring out what I really wanted to do and how I can do it. I did a few side projects, and then I finally got to where I am at the city of Ballarat.
As a
Um,
software developer.
yes.
Yes, yeah. So, Lovie, it sounds like, you had this can-do attitude. Like, you came in and straight away you join one group, you research another group, you try this, you try that. And I think like it's for everyone who's listening and studying at the moment, that's probably straight away the biggest takeaway. So you need to really get involved into community and, try to see what's happening at your uni or like in any meetups and so on. So obviously now maybe it's a bit more challenging in terms of everything is virtual. So obviously when back then it was face to face, sometimes it's easier because you can quicker build this rapport with the people. Because online it might take few interactions because people start recognizing you. But that's a great example of like getting involved in one thing that's lead to another thing that's lead to another thing. And I'm sure if you will ask a lot of people out there, that's probably how majority of them get their first jobs. We have a few people actually saying hi. Let's just say hi to everyone who's joining us. Mosh is here. My name is Marilla. I'm studying final year of cybersecurity at TAFE Sydney, international student as well, bachelor degree. Nicole is here. Nicole, are you in the Google now?
No, I wish.
And Nita is here as well. So few people is joining us today. So okay, so obviously here's the biggest takeaway, like get involved in the community straight away. But let's talk about the challenges. Yes, it's all sounds good, one thing lead to another, sounds exciting, but in reality
Reality.
what come back to reality. So what kind of challenges you faced, when you just arrived here and you're trying to, find your way around?
Sure. So I think the biggest challenge that everybody faces is culture shock, for sure. Like, I'm sure, Yana, you have your own story out there with the culture shock.
Like when I arrived to Australia, I couldn't speak English. Mine shock was like completely culture. I couldn't understand people. Then at some point I realized that I actually start understanding people, but then I realized that they can't understand me. So I'm like, oops. That's
Yes.
not helping. Even if I can understand them, they still can't understand me. So that's definitely been the biggest challenge that till you can overcome this one, probably other challenges not even appear.
Yes, I actually have to agree with this one. It was difficult to understand the accent. I'm sorry about it, but yes, it is still difficult for any new person to come in and just to grab on that accent or understand it. So yes, absolutely, definitely. So the other thing relevant to the IT industry and comes out as a culture shock, a big culture shock is, so back in India, I'm pretty sure in some other Asian countries as well, when you actually graduate, you have campus placements. So the companies come to your university to interview you, hire you. So, you do not have to get out of that comfort zone. And when you come here and they tell you, you have to do it all by yourself, and you're like, oh, okay. So, yes, that's definitely a big challenge. Culture shock, yes. Sometimes I feel I'm still coming out of it because sometimes some things are still new to me. So, but anyway, moving on to other challenges. Can you put the slide on? Yes, thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
It becomes
yeah.
easier to go organized. So now, when you come to a new country, I love one thing about Australia is that you have a lot of options to explore and to earn money. And definitely, I think that's the need, of course. But then you have too many options and you get into it, then it becomes a little hard to getting out of that comfort zone, because I did love my job at Coles Express and everything, but to come out of it was also difficult because it was easy for me. I had got into a routine, I understood everything, but again, coming out of it is difficult. Similarly, there are other kind of jobs as well. So to be able to understand what you exactly want and where you want to go and leave that money option behind is a little difficult. It is.
It's
So
actually a really good point, Lovie, because yes, here in Australia, you can work all your life in a cafe and have a reasonable income, and and completely live comfortable life, and don't even worry about keep studying IT.
yes. Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, that's definitely one of the challenges. Then again, the keeping organized bit. The reason I talk about this a lot is I still struggle to keep organized sometimes because um, people here in Australia, one very good thing is most of them are very organized. Like most of the people I have met are very organized. They have their calendars organized. Then, if they want to set up a meeting or meet someone, even then, like I did not have that thing culturally into me that if I want to talk to someone, I would actually book an appointment or something. We could actually just
Hmm.
chat to someone and then we could actually call them or something like that. So I think maintaining that work where you have proper calendars maintained and you have your time booked out for something is something very, very important. Because if you're doing a course as well, you book out some time. If you're going to meet someone, you book out your time. So valuing your own time is basically what it is. So yes, definitely. Now the resume and stuff, like everybody knows this one. People like they really struggle with the resumes. Even I struggled a lot. I think I have altered my resume like 100 times. Some people say, okay, put your work dates, don't put your work dates, do this, do that, and like there's so many people, so many advice, but it depends on you how you want to take it. So definitely, but I would say if you are an international student and you're coming to Australia, go to your career hub, university career hub, and get those workshops done. They are boring, but yes, they are useful. They are definitely useful because you will at least have that basic knowledge, what you have to put in there and how you want to construct it. So, yes,
Yeah,
definitely that.
get these basics, and then yeah, if you want to like change it up and make it a bit
Yes.
your style, you can always do it. But yeah, get those basics right. That could be could be something so simple, like
Yeah.
even like I think for me, so obviously I came here long ago. I came here in 2009, but for example, in Russia, everyone put photos on the resumes. It's kind of
Yeah.
like really common, put the picture. Where here, people usually don't put the photo. Like and again, it's kind of this cultural difference because again, this diversity inclusion, you usually don't put the pictures on the resume. So like little things like this, or like um, like putting your address, mobile, and things like this, or
Yes.
like even shortening your name.
Yes.
Like don't put your full name on resume. Like especially if it's really hard to pronounce, forget it. Find a nickname. It's completely fine to put your nickname on the resume.
Yes, absolutely. And then there comes the concept of key selection criterias and those things. They go to another level where you need to really learn how to do it because it's. I mean, for me also it was something new. I'd never heard of it before. So definitely go for those workshops and even research. I think there are university resources available. For Latrobe, I think there was big interview, and that resource was very helpful to prepare for interviews, I would say. So yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, moving to
finding
the
yeah.
next
So
one.
finding the resources. Yes.
Yes. I also want to talk about how and when to apply for stuff. So usually, the start of the year is the time where you go for your grad programs, but it is also during the July side of things. So you really need to know when some companies have their opening opportunity. Although right now the market is really, really hot, so you can definitely get in. Um,
That's
I
a good
think
actually point. Thinking about the calendar, when the semester starting here is different from
yes.
different countries. So and the uni holidays is different. So sometimes when you just arrived, you can get like simply confused when is the summer holidays and then the start of the program and when is it finished. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So that's the other thing. And then talking about the resources, yes, I mean, um, usually you do find a lot of resources on the website or your course website, but then you can always go to the student union things and you talk to people. And then the other thing would be to explore more. There are websites such as meetup.com, and there are more, and where you can always explore if there is any event going on or those things. Like, even I think it is not always necessary to be able to improve your confidence and all those things that you go to a technical event itself. You can always go to other events as well. And like, I also volunteered for Bollywood Club back in Latrobe, and that was a lot of fun, I can tell you. So that was really, really fun. We organized a party and stuff. So even that is fun.
And you meet the new people, and the main thing, you start building those connections.
Yes. Plus, even organizing a party, you still need to organize stuff. You need to talk to people. You need to get sponsors. So even that bit, I would say it counts as a lot of, work. And you can always mention those things in your interviews too, because at the end of the day, if you don't have something to talk about in your interview, they would ask you the toughest questions. So maybe you talk first and tell them, okay, what you have done, and they will ask you from those things. So I think that is a good way of tackling that bit. And I think one more I haven't mentioned there is about visas. The reason being, visas can get really tricky. However, good news is that it is getting a relaxed a little bit because of the border closures and all those things. So I'm hoping it should be good at this point. um, yeah. And talking about the connect, so definitely connecting is a bit of difficult task when you go out to people and talk. So I'm, as I mentioned, the student host, because I saw them how they were talking and how they were actually doing something for someone in return of nothing, of course. I mean, that requires courage, and I participated in that one. I did not talk much at the start, but grown it slowly grew on me. So I loved it then. So I think that's how you connect. And then you really need to be out in the community to be able to connect. If you're just sitting at home doing nothing, you won't be actually connecting with people. And
Yeah.
when I'm saying connecting, I definitely you understand, Yana, it means meaningful connections, and not just I want to connect with you because I want to get a job.
100%. And I think like the main point for all of this, as you mentioned in the beginning, there is no such a thing that the companies will come to your campus and start offering you jobs. So you actually, as soon as you arrive to Australia, you already need to kind of start looking for a job, like your future job when you graduate. Because like, even if you're graduating in 3 years, you need to start the process basically now, and build this foundation and build this trust with some people, and build these meaningful connections. It's not like you graduated in like November, and like in December, like, oh, okay, so now I can write my resume. So
Yes, no, it starts from very early period of time. And in fact, the graduate programs, they're usually when you are in your second last semester, or it's a second last year kind of a place. So it's always that early. And most people miss out. Even I missed out a lot of grad programs because I was informed late.
yeah, and sometimes it's actually, I think it can be tricky to find some information, because when you arrive, it's not like university will take you through all the things that's happening. So you kind of have to do this research, because it's not like someone will grab your hand and tell you like, oh, so we
Yes.
run this program and we run this program, and there is like this extra curriculum, and this is like a Bollywood thing. So you actually need to kind of do your research, because they just give you like usually like a basic stuff to get you started with your degree. But yeah, so you need to kind of get out of your way to get included in all these extra activities, because it's paid off at the end.
Yes, it does. Plus, you have fun actually. What will you anyway do? Just watch Netflix at home.
Exactly. So yeah, so, and I think a lot of universities actually here have a great extra curriculum stuff. I think like Melbourne Uni have like the biggest theater, for example, so you can like
Yes.
get into the theater, and have like a lot of fun and learn something completely new as well. So, and obviously like people who will be with you at the performance, you build such a bond, because you need to do like a rehearsal together and so on. It's ongoing relationship rather than just like catch up for coffee here and there. So
Yeah, absolutely.
we have a question actually from Nicole. How do you improve speaking? It's a challenge as a newbie here, especially on the phone. I'm super nervous.
Nicole, I have a very good suggestion for you. You should try Toastmasters Australia. I did try it once. I loved going there. Uh, Within 2 minutes, they actually put me in front of people to speak about something, and that got me nervous, but that was still fun because everybody in that space was like me, nervous. So I would definitely say you do need to go to people and you do need to talk to them. Even though you are nervous, you still need to come out of that comfort zone, and I think doing it only will help you more. Even though it doesn't matter, because as an international student, even English is not my first language, but I still go out, speak wrong things as well. It's not that I'm always correct or good at vocab and everything, but yeah, you still learn with experience that, okay, oh shit, I did not have to speak that or something.
Yeah, no, 100%. And again, all these like meetups and just talking to people and realize, yes, you make mistakes and it's okay. I actually, Nicole, just to encourage you, I actually got fired from 2 jobs when I arrived to Australia. So because my English was so shit, I honestly like I had a job. I had a job in the jewelry shop. That was my first job in Australia. I couldn't understand customers at all. It was in Queensland as well. So Queensland is harder than Melbourne. Sorry, Queensland. but but it's true. So like I couldn't understand how half of the things customers was asking me. So I just basically was doing restocking and just kind of doing some cleaning and stuff because sometimes I would understand, sometimes I won't. And then I got a job actually at reception in the fitness club, and it was better because I started understanding people. But then I was trying to answer the phone. It was just disaster. The phone, like, yeah, you start understanding people, but then you try to answer the phone, you can't see them, you can't see the expression, no idea what people talking about. And I think the hardest bit is also names, because
Yes.
names like so different, they spell different ways. So they want to book the class, they try to spell the name, they say it so quickly, no idea if it's a Catherine or Katerina, or like they all like kind of the variations there, Kaylee, Kylie. So
Yeah.
yeah, so definitely there is no shortcut, Nicole, so don't get discouraged. There is no shortcut.
There is no shortcut. You'll have to get into the field.
And then just keep going. And so okay, so we talk about the challenges. So guys, if you have any questions to Lovie so far, please don't be shy. Get ask your questions in the comments. As I said, we're here to discuss all of your challenges as well. And Lovie, so now top tips. Yes, so how did you overcome it, and so what helped you? And so you already told us about all the things you get involved, but yeah, so what else helped you?
So yes, the biggest advice is when you're looking for a full-time job is a full-time job. So make sure you treat it like one. So, okay, here I have a question before we get into
Yeah.
it. The question is, how many applications have you applied to? Or how many job applications have you applied yet, till date? Do you have a
So
count?
guys, yep, so if you're listening to us and you're student, or maybe you already got a job, so do you know how many jobs you applied for? Like hundreds, thousands, or maybe just two? Please let us know in the comments. So Lavi, how many jobs you applied to?
I think around 207 before this one. And I'm not counting the ones before my Course Express and the Redbubble ones. I'm just talking about this first bit in about 5 months, 5 to 6 months gap.
So
Yes,
in
I've
5 months you applied to 207 jobs.
yes,
Here
definitely.
you go, guys. Make the calculation. How many jobs per day it is?
Yes. The reason why I asked this question and why it matters a lot is when you're applying to jobs, make sure you actually are writing it down where you are applying it. So what I did was I created an Excel sheet with a job name, where did I get the job from, I mean the job listing from, and where did I apply, what resume did I use, is there anything, any questions or comments that I had to answer, or all those kind of things, and what was the deadline of that application closing so that I can follow up. So that bit really helped me, color coded it, that okay, didn't made that red, made it to the interview, yellow, selected, okay, green, yay. So definitely that helps. And one of the thing that helps it with the most is, so most of the time we apply to the jobs and then we get a call and they ask you, okay, you had applied for this, and you're like, which job are you talking about? And that is very, very embarrassing. And so it's very good, it's a better idea to just write it down and have that sheet always handy. And when you write down things, you most likely are to remember it. So anyway, that really, really helped me out with organizing stuff. And then with the resumes, you actually pick out what you have to mention and where you have to mention those things. So because if you're going for a part-time job, you might actually add an availability section, but for the full-time job you might not. So you need to pick those differences out. Plus I think there is this, if you are struggling to find which role is right for you, or if that matches your resume or not, just have a full resume. And I think there's this extension called Job Analyzer on Chrome, and that might help you with the keywords and stuff. Maybe just try if you like. So yeah, that's
But
something.
definitely from recruitment perspective, it's so refreshing when you're calling someone. So obviously, like as recruiters, we do a lot of basically like almost cold calling, and then we need to find like a talent. But it's always like so refreshing when you're calling someone and they actually remember what they applied. They already did some sort of research of the company. So and it's you immediately stand out. So if you actually like remember and done at least a little bit of research, sometimes it's probably not the best advice, but sometimes I would even feel like it might be easier sometimes wait for the voice message to hear where the
Yes.
person calling from, like especially if you're like in a busy spot, like like you're already stressed out, maybe just wait for the voice message and call back, because then at least you can just quickly check like, okay, that's what I applied for, and call back prepared.
Yes, no, absolutely. I think that voicemail advice is very, very helpful. I wish I would have followed it before.
Like you don't
Like,
want to miss the call sometimes, especially when
yes,
you like then early in your career, you probably need to be more like picking up the phone all the time. But yeah, especially as you're progressing, so it's good to actually listen to the voice message, because if it's a recruitment agency, they like 99% of the time leave you a voice message
yes.
to tell what's regard for.
Yes, absolutely. Moving on to my other tips would be yes, networking, volunteering, go for it. Because okay, so I'm not sure if people have heard of Vic ICT for Women. This is mainly for women that I'm talking about. So they have this program, Grad Girls, where I participated, and from that program, I actually got to apply for multiple companies, and I made it to the interview rounds for two or three of them actually. So there we go. That was specially for it. So you need to apply for it. And I think I saw today that their program is open today. Open. They are accepting applications. So get in, go for it. Then there are communities like GDG Melbourne, as I mentioned. But for students, Google developer groups are maybe a little, more technical. So they have started the developer student clubs for students. At my time, it was not there, but they've recently started. And I think the students are making a very good progress. They do a lot of problem solving, hackathons, and all those things. And if you are looking to get into IT, I think that is something that you should definitely get into. So I would repeat that again: developer student clubs, if you're looking for applying into it. So go for it, search in there, and search for Melbourne ones if you're in Melbourne, and if different places. So you can always get into those kind of clubs. Um, the other would be then definitely your career hubs, as I mentioned, the Toastmasters. And I think these are very good things that you can always do. About the other thing would be, yes, so one more, like I did mention about the communities, but I do want to mention 2 to 3 people who have been really, really active in this space. So there's Vinesh Balan, who has been very
Hmm.
active in the whole space. I'm sure
Yes.
you know, Yana. So he has been, I think, organizing student walks and meetups, and he has provided really helpful tips. So they are experts in the industry. Just reach out to them because they're there to help you out. And then there's also Josh Farr with Campus Consultancy. Um, so definitely, and if there are any students from different parts of the country, or sorry, different parts of the world, then
Yes.
I'd like to definitely mention this because one of my professor from Squared, he helped me a lot during the whole period when the COVID was happening and I was applying and getting confused with the mindset and everything. So he helped me a lot to develop that mindset of having patience and applying it correctly, being getting organized and getting focused. So he is running a talent program for girls and women so that they can accelerate into digital. So yes, definitely, if you want to apply for it, go for it. It's very, very interesting program, and there are more programs or boot camps like that, like even in Melbourne. That's from UK, of course, but even in Melbourne you have boot camps such as UX Academy or General Assembly. They organize a lot of boot camps, and that's a very good way to learn a few things, and then you actually get to a few interviews as well sometimes when you're doing some projects. Plus, you get actually your side projects while you're doing a certification, and that's the best thing that you can show. So Jana, so I do know a friend of mine who did learn something, and she developed like those dashboards and stuff. Those were just the sample dashboards and stuff, and she put it on the LinkedIn. She got a job from there because she shared
Yeah.
her side project or
And
side things.
she solved the problem. And
Yes,
that's what
exactly.
the employee is looking for. They're looking for people who can solve the problems.
Yes, absolutely. So definitely try to just build small side projects. You don't have to be something great. Just make a to-do app or a notes app. It, but just do something. And the other thing while you're doing it is certifications. So there are so many certifications out there. Specifically, I would like to talk about the cloud certifications because every industry, every company is getting into cloud, and everybody is in cloud at the moment, I would say. So it is really, really helpful when you have a cloud certification with you. I think it definitely helped me for my job, for sure. And then finding a mentor. So in one of the Women Tech Makers events, there was a speaker, and she talked about having a mentor, how her mentor helped her throughout her journey, and that was very inspiring. And that's where I thought, okay, I really need to get a mentor. And I asked one of the GDG organizers herself, and asked if she could be my mentor. She said yes, and till date she is my mentor, and she really helps me a lot with so many things. Like even she helped me with my resumes, I can correct them and all those things. And it is very, very helpful to have a mentor who can actually guide you, and someone who's really experienced. And there are mentorship programs as well. I think with the Vic ICT for women, they only are running something like mentorship or something. That's a formal mentorship program where you can apply for it.
Yeah, so many options. And actually, guys, we talked with Johan before.
Yes.
We have a whole um, live stream about the ways Samantha can boost your career in IT. And Johan gave a few examples of as well how you can find a mentor. Because remember, don't be shy to reach out to someone for the mentorship because it's a two-way street. When someone becomes a mentor, they learning a lot as well because being a mentor actually help you to structure your knowledge when you're passing it to someone. So sometimes you can be really helpful when you reach out to someone and ask them to be to be your mentor. So don't be shy doing that. It's definitely like something to look into it, and you can get a great results by doing this. And actually while we're on this topic, you mentioned also general assembly, and we had this we talk with Hyun from General Assembly, and she has like so many different tips and stuff for people who are looking for job. Definitely listen to this discussion and reached out to her on LinkedIn. Just pop the line, say, like, I would love to connect. I don't know. I listened to few of your podcasts or live streams. Like, I would love to connect. Like, she always posts some sort of content regarding job search as well, and also like helping to like mock interviews and things like this. So there is definitely a lot of resources out there. Sometimes it's just a lot of options, and maybe hard to understand where to start when looking for those resources.
Yes, no, absolutely. Like there's so many other communities such as Musicode.js, and then there's Data Science Melbourne, Design Sprinters. Like there's so many out there. It's just you have to pick one from the one that you actually are interested in. Then the other thing that I wanted to mention is when you're thinking about IT and those skills, you just don't think in terms of programming and around that vertical. Don't just think that, because it's everywhere. Everything you can just possibly think of everything, even your digital marketing, content, and all those things. They are using a lot of tools, or those things, and you can always get into it, and that counts as IT. So you don't have to be focusing on, oh no, I do want to do just software development and I do not know any coding or anything. You have any other verticals as well where you can always go into. It's mostly called digital, I guess, but yes, go for it. Look for those kind of roles as well if they interest you. So it doesn't have to be just that bit. It's way more spread now. So yeah, go for that bit. I think
And
then.
I'm just see if you have any questions. I feel like I think LinkedIn just telling me it's been some problems with the comments from LinkedIn.
Uh-huh.
Guys, if you're actually watching us on LinkedIn and you've been commenting, but we can't see your comments, if you want to ask a question live, you have to jump on the YouTube and comment on YouTube if you're on LinkedIn at the moment. But otherwise, we come back to your comments after the live stream and have a look on LinkedIn. Nicole is saying, thank you, guys. It's helpful. So guys, I'm cautious about the time as well. So we have a few more points to talk about. So if you have any questions, it's your chance to pop your questions right now. Lovie, a few more points there that you want to mention as well.
Just a few things like follow up and feedback. So the reason I talk about this is the life example. I'm sure this might have happened with you too, Yana. So I actually applied for something and I got a rejection email. So I followed up asking what went wrong, what should I improve, and I got a revert that, oh, actually you were selected. I don't know how you got that email.
You never
So
know. You
you
never
never
know.
know. You never know. And I mean, that happens. Even those people, yeah, they're humans.
And you know what else can happen with the situation like this? They could possibly interview a few people, or they might select someone, but they didn't take the job.
Yes.
So that happens as well. So you might get a rejection or something, and the person who got the job just simply declined the job, or didn't take the offer, or didn't rock up. So every time you follow up, it's your chance to to see what's happening, because or sometimes it's just another position open in the same company with the similar description. So you never know. So obviously don't need to spam people, but find the
Yeah.
creative ways to follow up. So it's not just like, how's my application going, but start the conversation, talk about something else. So find the creative ways to constantly stay in touch and follow up.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a lot to understand when in the company that you're going to apply for. Ask about that. Um, yes. So moving on to the last one would be recruiters. So if you're too desperate and you want to go for it, go for the recruiters. I'm a little cautious at this side because sometimes you not always have a very good experience, but mostly it's a very good experience. The recruiters here are very, very good. And someone very much experienced gave me an advice that when you're talking to a recruiter, it's a two-way street. Don't just talk about your own job. Talk about something that you can help them with. So if you have a network where you actually can, but you cannot apply for that job, but you can always share it. If you can help them, they're always willing to help you out. So someone very wise shared this with me, and there we go.
100%, 100%. And also, I think so. It's always hard with recruiters because recruiters usually don't have that many junior roles.
Yes.
But we do get some junior roles every now and again. It's just quite rare for recruiters. It's only if, like, the existing client looking for someone junior as well. But the it does happen, and it doesn't mean that you need to cross recruiters from the list. And also, I think it's really helpful to have a really clear idea what you want when you talk with recruiter. Because if you're just talking about, oh, I'm just finishing uni, I did this project, I want a job, and I want just any job, you just become another international student who are looking for a job.
Yes.
So you need to find a way to be like memorable. Yes. So then the recruiter talk with you, and you said, like, like, my dream is actually working for, I don't know, like green electricity sustainable company, and I want to do this. Like, if you really like paint this picture, what is your dream job, where you want to be in 5 years, what do you want to do, give some examples, you actually will stick in the recruiter's mind, because recruiters won't be able to remember like every international student they talk with. Like, it's just impossible. So we can't even remember the senior engineers we're talking with, because it's a lot of talking. Yeah. But yeah, so it's find these ways to be memorable. Why would someone in the recruitment agency will be like, I remember I was talking with this girl, she really want to like enter this kind of industry and be in this domain. And it's exactly what we're looking for at the moment. So there's like a perfect match, because recruiters always looking for this perfect match.
Yes, absolutely. They are, and they are there to help you, and they would actually prepare you as well for the interviews. So that's actually a win-win.
100%, because recruiters want to place people too. It's just we drag you from the interview. But again, exactly what you said before, it's a two-way street. So you need to give as well to make sure it's a two-way street. And exactly what you said, like, keep in touch with some recruiters that you enjoy talking with, and give them some suggestions or introduce them to some groups you're in. And yeah, great tip from there, Lovie.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
So just see if we have any more questions. I think like no more questions coming in. I'm cautious about the time as well. We already passed the 50 minutes mark. I know we can talk forever. I can. Absolutely. Anyway.
Yeah, me too.
So Lovie, let's just summarize. Yes. So someone is about to graduate, they want to find a job this year. So if you need to give them like top 3 tips, I guess, what would be the top 3?
The first one would be, don't wait for anything. Just do it. Do it now. Time is now. You have to start looking from now. You have to start applying now. You have to start making connections now. Any opportunities, just grab them as quickly as possible. Just don't wait for anything. Second would be, yes, learn and network. I'm a person who loves to learn new things. So anyway, I go out for experiences and stuff and meet new people, make those meaningful connections to actually, so that people actually know you. I think there's some kind of proverb or saying, your network is your net worth kind of thing. So definitely that is true. That is definitely true, because sometimes those people help you in those difficult times. You can have those discussions with them. So that, and the third one would be, yeah, you need to have some fun as well. You don't have to be very hard on yourself, and things take time. But I would say, like, during my time, the COVID happened, and it took me a lot of hard work and pressure and everything. And it was so difficult. But this time the market is hot. So grab any opportunity you can. Don't get distracted with other things. It takes time, but you will get there for sure.
Perfect, Lovie. Great tips. Definitely agree with all of them. And especially in terms of in the beginning, yes, you need to grab these opportunities. You need to keep networking. Like I must say, I just told you then, in 2010, I get fired from like a few jobs because I couldn't speak English. My last two jobs, I didn't apply for them. Yeah, so I
Yes.
don't even send my resumes anymore to get the jobs. So yeah, it took me 10 years, but you eventually, if you're doing everything right, you get to this point. So you actually we will not need to send your resume at all. It's just irrelevant because you will be just talking to people and people will be introducing you to people, and you basically
Yes.
just go straight to interviews. So but before you get to this point, you need to
Yes.
go through through a few millstones there.
I'm sure you might be getting offers as well. Like once you're working, you start getting a lot of offers from different companies. So it automatically comes to you.
Yeah, it
It's, yeah.
definitely gets like easier and easier and easier like every year. So obviously, first few years is always the hardest one. So don't get discouraged. Keep going. So use all the tips that Lovie shared with you. And okay, Lovie. So just to finish this live stream, I always like to ask my guest speakers for their favorite inspirational quote. Do you have one? Do you have your favorite inspirational quote?
No.
I feel like it needs to be just do it from
Actually,
from everything
I
from
wanted to
everything you
say that,
said.
but then you would be like, "Oh God, what did she say?"
No, I think it's really relevant. From everything that you've been talking today, like I would assume that's your favorite inspirational quote.
Yes, that is. No, definitely that is for sure.
So,
Yeah.
guys, exactly, just do it. And if you enjoy this video, if you get a lot of good information from this video, I also ask you to give it a like, hit this like button, because it's obviously helping me to bring more guests to my live streams and discuss all these topics and share the knowledge. So please support me and like this video, share it with your fellow students as well. Maybe share it in your like a Facebook student group. whatever, whatever groups out there. So click the share button, and it maybe lead you to some networking as well. So you never know. And also you can connect with Lovie on LinkedIn if you have any further questions. Lovie is happy to answer. So make sure to send her a note and connect with her. And in my meetup group also, like don't be shy to reach out to other people. So it's always good to connect with people who are in similar situations.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much again, Lovie. So I'm just cautious time. I don't want to go over time. So thank you so much, guys. And I'll see you next week on Wednesday.
See ya.
See you.